The year is 1914. Dorothy Gale has spent the last 10 years in a mental hospital, undergoing extensive therapy and reconditioning to convince her that there is no land of Oz. She has now returned to a normal life until one night she is confronted by the zombie Winky Guard, led by Neca, the king of the flying primates. Just when all seems lost, three old friends arrive to aid young Dorothy. Hi, I'm Eric Hawkins, creator of the Zombieful World of Oz, a steampunk fantasy horror adventure story. The comic is complete. I am just looking to share my story with fans of all things Oz. With your help, I'll be able to get the Zombieful World of Oz printed and shared with the world. I'm offering several contributor levels that include variant covers, special editions, sketches, prints, bookmarks, and more. I hope you find something about this project that interests you. This is just the beginning to a much larger world. Won't you return with me to the Zombieful World of Oz? Thank you for considering backing this project.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this latest edition of Funko Pop Concepts. Of course, the focus this time is on music artists. Now, before we get into this, you did see a promo at the beginning of this video for a Kickstarter campaign by Eric Hawkins. He's trying to make his comic, The Zombieful World of Oz, basically become a reality. Now, he's already done the work, of course, but he really wants to get this into the hands of readers. So there will be a link in the description for his Kickstarter campaign. Please make sure that you check that out. Every dollar helps. He doesn't have a lofty goal. It's a very achievable goal. So again, even just $1, if you contributed, that would mean a lot for him, to help this dream come true. So please make sure that you do check that out. Now, before we get into the concepts here, of course, I do want to point out that this is just concept art by collectors, so you're not going to see anything official from Funko, although who knows, some of these could become reality someday. Now, I also want to point out here that there are some artwork that was submitted, but it wasn't submitted correctly, so it may not be included. And with some of it, it was just basically the visibility of it wasn't clear enough. It just wasn't clear enough to show up in a video. Also, I had at least one piece that was submitted on line paper that just does not look right. It doesn't show up well. Some pictures were taken at an angle of the artwork, so again, it just didn't show up well, and some images were just way too light. So I basically need people to make sure that when you submit something that it is very easy to see, and also that you submit it correctly. Follow the procedures that I tell you to do to make sure that I actually can get your artwork included in the video, and also shout you out as well, because unfortunately I do have some pieces that were submitted and the artist's name is not on the art, and it's kind of a hassle to go back through the email. So yeah, just make sure that you submit it the way that I'm asked you to within the video, so everything will be on the up and up. Everything will be good to go. Now, as always, it takes a bit of bravery, I think, to put your artwork out there for an audience. So in the comments, please be respectful to the artist. Of course, give your feedback, but be respectful at the same time. That is greatly appreciated. And let's go ahead and get into it and take a look at these concepts. So we're starting off here with the Rat Pack, and this is actually done by Travis Snow. Travis Snow has submitted artwork for several of these concept videos, and of course the Rat Pack here, he's focusing on the members Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Sammy Davis Jr. Now, even though of course this group goes way back, they go way back, still I think they are very prominent in pop culture today, because the music that they produced, it still gets sampled all the time, and it still actually gets used all the time, so I feel like they are very prominent in today's society still, and still within pop culture today. So yeah, absolutely, I'd be down with this. And of course, you're also talking about the original members of Ocean's 11, as well. They did the original movie. So again, the Rat Pack, yeah, I think they're pretty prominent still, and I think it would make sense to do them, and a 3-pack of them would be pretty awesome there as well, with these members here. So moving right along here, we also see another interpretation of Frank Sinatra, this one done by Anthony Z, and he actually has, you know, the blue eyes, because of course Sinatra was referred to as Old Blue Eyes. So it would be interesting to see if that actually worked on a pop figure, to actually give him the full blue eyes, you know, to see how that would turn out. Could be actually pretty cool. And I like the idea of him having a mic and a mic stand as well. And then of course here Anthony Z also did Stevie Wonder. Now when it comes to Stevie Wonder, you know, they could do an older version of him or a younger one. Either way it would be cool. And I like the idea of him coming along with a keyboard as well. I think that's something we have not seen yet quite with Funko. Maybe the one of the new Kiss Pops, I can't remember for sure. But yeah, it just, you know, the instruments, including the instruments with the artists, I think that is a very cool thing to do. And it seems like Funko is trying to step that up as well. And of course Stevie Wonder, yes, still very popular and very influential to other artists. Next up here we have the Gorillaz, and of course this is I guess you would somewhat say a virtual band in a way, because, you know, of course it's focusing on characters. But yeah, the Gorillaz still have a very strong fan base, a very loyal fan base as well. You know, anytime their name is brought up, you know, there's going to be somebody that's just really big into their music. Now me, I haven't really stuck with their career too much. I can remember when they first came out in a couple of tracks here and there, but I haven't really stuck with their career. But I've always liked their art style and the way that they present themselves. I think it's very cool. Definitely would work very well as pop figures. They would look amazing together, and of course there could be variants easily. You know, as a matter of fact, I think the individual members would look pretty cool, and then maybe like a con exclusive 4-pack would be amazing as well, you know, with them in some alternate outfits. So yeah, the Gorillaz, I think it would go over very well, you know, and like I said, especially, you know, something with a con exclusive, that would be a big hit in my opinion. Now next up here, again, we're, you know, still with Travis Snow. Travis Snow, he submits a lot of artwork. He really does enjoy doing these videos, and I definitely appreciate that. So he has here Bill Withers, and when I think most people would know Bill Withers based off of Lean On Me, which is a huge hit, and it's still a song that gets used a lot today. So again, that's where I think a lot of people would know him from. Definitely like him with the guitar, and I love the way that he's holding the guitar there as well. And then when it comes to The Weeknd, I'm definitely a fan of The Weeknd, and you know, just in terms of a visual style for him, yeah, the whole Starboy look, you know, influenced by that video, definitely would be a great look for him. And you know, especially if that cross was like a glow in the dark, you know, as an option. I think that's something he mentioned within his email. Yeah, that would definitely stand out and look very cool. So yeah, Travis Snow, thank you so much for your submissions here, and you know, as always, you know, putting forth some quality work. Now moving on here, Anthony Z also submitted these other artists here, and I will say this, of course I'm not going to know all of these artists well, so with some I may not have much to say. It's not putting down, you know, your choice of artists or the artwork itself. It's just that I may not be super familiar with some of these artists. But here we have Luke Combs, Sam Smith. I feel like I should know some of Sam Smith's music, but sometimes I think I mix him up with another artist. But we also have here Whitney Houston, and I love the look that he chose here for Whitney Houston. And a good while back, I'm not even sure when it was, it's probably over a year ago, it feels like it's been over a year ago, I did a video about music artists that I would like to see as pop figures, and she was definitely on the list. Now I'm not sure if her estate would allow it or not, but if they did, I think a lot of people would appreciate that. And, you know, she's a pop icon, you know, so yeah, I think people would love to have Whitney Houston within their collection. And like I said, this look that he chose for her, I think is very fitting as well. Next up here we have Lin-Manuel Miranda of In the Heights and Hamilton fame, and I'm not super familiar with him either. I did take a look at, you know, for some of these artists I did kind of check out a little bit of their work and what they're about on YouTube. And he's a stage performer, and of course he's a music artist as well, you know, so he does fit into this video here, and this art is done by Corin the Great. And of course I think it makes sense for him to be represented by In the Heights and Hamilton as well. That seems to be, you know, very prominent within his career. Now somebody actually did suggest in the past that I do a concepts video focusing on Broadway. I just don't know how much of a crossover there is between pop collectors and Broadway fans. I don't know if it's enough to really do a full video on, but of course, you know, wherever these people may fit in and these characters may fit in, you know, that's fine. You know, I know in the past when I did the random video, I think there was somebody that included some artwork from Cats, you know, inspired by Cats, the Broadway play. So yeah, I think Broadway should be represented in some way. I don't know if Funko would do like a full Broadway type line, but wherever they could fit those performers in, you know, especially the very prominent, well-known ones, then yeah, absolutely, I think they should go for it. Next up here we have Shaggy, done by K-Fit Custom. And Shaggy, I guess he's still around doing his thing. I don't feel like I've heard of a big hit by Shaggy since It Wasn't Me, which was a huge hit for him, even more so than when he first debuted. But that was a good while ago, you know. But yeah, of course, I'm sure he still has his fan base out there. And this design for him seems pretty on point as well. And then to the right here, Aha, Take On Me, I think is one of the best music videos ever. It's kind of tough to even argue that. Like, it's just such a well-known video and a great song at the same time. And this artwork here, this concept, is by Davis Crook. And I do want to point out that he actually has the figure with the art style, you know, the sketch style from the video, which would look very cool. And there have been figures done like this before. As a matter of fact, I know that DC did a figure like this with at least Superman. It may have been more than one character, but I know there's a Superman sketch style figure out there that looks really cool. And yeah, this Aha figure I think would work as well. That would be very interesting to see, and definitely would like to see Funko get very bold and you know, creative with their paint jobs as well. Next up here we have a couple of concepts together here by Elliot. He has Chris Jericho, which is very interesting. Yeah, I don't personally think of Chris Jericho as a music artist, but I mean, he is, though, you know. So of course there are some people that are multi-talented, you know, they do different things, so that's very interesting to see there. Now, Michael Jackson, Thriller. If you are really up on your Funko information, then you know this almost happened a couple years ago. There were actually going to be Thriller pops, including one of him as a werewolf. But then his estate, I guess they felt like that was maybe too morbid since he did pass away, you know, many years ago now. But still, they just didn't seem comfortable with that. And I think you got to respect that. You know, when it comes down to it, his family makes the decision on that. So if they're not comfortable with it, I understand that. It would be nice to see. I think fans really would appreciate, you know, some more Michael Jackson pops, especially focusing on Thriller. So not going to say that it's never going to happen, but right now, I don't know, the chances seem somewhat slim on that. And then Daft Punk. Daft Punk is another group I would love to see pop figures of. I think, you know, visually, especially with those helmets, they could look so cool. As a matter of fact, there are some Freddy Funko figures that have some almost Daft Punk style helmets going on to them. There were some con exclusives that are pretty tough to get, so I already know that, yeah, it would work. And with Daft Punk, you know, they could do variants with them as well, and I think they would be a hit. I think they would sell pretty well because, yeah, that group is just so well known and has worked with so many artists, including The Weeknd, you know, who we saw earlier. Moving along here to Tanny Protagonist, yet another artist that contributes on a regular basis here. So I'll do my best with these names, by the way. Like I said, I'm not familiar with all the artists here. One thing I like that Tanny Protagonist did here, though, is to really go international with it. You know, he even included the different flags here, you know, representing where these artists are from. So that's pretty cool there. But we have Zayn Malik, then we have Manuel Carrasco, and we also have Avril Lavigne. And, you know, I think when you think about Avril Lavigne, especially if you knew her when her career started off, then that is the look that you pretty much think of. You know, that's a prominent look for her based off of one of her music videos. So yeah, I think if they were going to do Avril Lavigne, then that is definitely the look to go with. And like I said, I'm not too familiar with these other artists, but maybe I will look them up sometime and see what they're all about. And who knows, sometimes I have actually heard an artist plenty of times and I just don't realize it. You know, especially if I'm out shopping in stores and they have a big hit that's out. I may know the song, but I just don't know the artist by name necessarily. So there's a good chance that I may have actually heard their music before already. From Noel Espinosa, we have here LL Cool J. And yes, I think LL Cool J is definitely deserving of a pop figure as well. And I gotta say too, along with him, I think he would look great alongside like the Run DMC pops that were made before. So if you're lucky enough to have those in your collection, then I think, like I said, LL Cool J would look great alongside them. And I like the boombox here too as well. Like, if, you know, actually him having the foot up on the boombox looks pretty cool. So I like that design feature there. And then of course we have here Post Malone, and yes, you know, we all know Post Malone is actually on the way. There is a Post Malone pop on the way. Doesn't mean that has to be the only one that is done, because he is a very successful artist, so who knows, there could be some variants of him done at some point. And you see two different designs here, one by Connor Sullivan, the other by Big Chungus. So again, yeah, even though Post Malone is on the way, who knows, we could see some variants in the future. Now moving along here to some, I guess you would say disco slash pop icons. I mean ABBA, yeah, ABBA has so many hits under their belts. It's really amazing, and I didn't really realize like how many hits they had until it was one of the Just Dance games that came out and it was being promoted. Yeah, I think it was Just Dance, and they had like a Just Dance ABBA. And I was like, wow, ABBA actually has enough hits to do like, you know, a full game like that. And I looked through the track list and I was like, well, yeah. And I actually realized I knew a lot of the songs. But they're a very versatile group, you know. So, yeah, again, ABBA, they got a lot of hits under their belt. And I think they're very influential to other artists as well. And this work here is by Suxella MK, who has, you know, been very supportive of the channel and presented some other artwork for these videos. And I love this very colorful design that she has going on, and the idea of having the lead singers here, you know, at least two of the four, the lead singers here in a Diamond Collection 2-pack, that is a pretty brilliant idea. I think that would be very cool to see. And we're going to stick here with pop, and like I said with ABBA, I know they were kind of disco slash pop, but very influential on pop artists here. And of course we have a pop icon to the left here, Madonna, who was, you know, still considered to be an icon to this day. And she definitely had a big influence on Lady Gaga. As a matter of fact, I think because of that, Madonna is not the biggest fan of Lady Gaga. And I didn't realize they actually do have some songs. When you play them side by side, it's like, oh, like, yeah, you know, I'm not saying that Lady Gaga ripped her off, but she was definitely influenced by her. So, you know, that's why I decided to put the pieces here together. And this artwork is very cool, by the way, by Funko Pop Wish, Raphael Paclat, I think is how you say that name. Forgive me if I mispronounce your last name there, but some very impressive artwork here. I definitely do like these designs. With each of these artists, there are so many different ways you could go as well. They have so many different looks that they are known for. You know, it's endless possibilities, but I think they both are very deserving of pop figures. And then also here we have two more designs by the same artist, Beyonce and Katy Perry. Again, pop icons, you know, that really are deserving of some figures. Now, I don't know if Beyonce would be down with that or not, if she would be willing to give up her likeness, but you know, I think fans would appreciate that for sure. And some people that are not even pop collectors might want to pick that up. You know, it could happen. For example, with when Mariah Carey came out, some people that weren't really big into pops, they went for it, you know, so it could happen. And Katy Perry, again, Katy Perry has had some very out there looks. I think this is the look to go with personally. I think that is the one that works the most and would very much stand out within the collection. But again, you know, is, you know, different styles they could go with for Katy Perry. But yeah, these designs, very cool, very well done. And then the last artist here, or one of the last artists, because I will cover somebody else here quickly, or at least a group here quickly. But yeah, Billie Eilish, I've been hearing the name, hadn't really listened to her music, but you know, this artwork here did inspire me to check out her music. So we have here two different versions of her, one from Speedy Mimi and then also one from Atlas Funko. And Atlas Funko has definitely been supportive of this series. But you know, looking at her music videos, yeah, there's some very cool looks they could go with for her. And I like her sound. You know, I haven't listened to a ton of her music at this point, but I was pleasantly surprised by some of the tracks that I checked out. I'm like, you know, there are definitely some different influences going on, including some hip-hop influence as well. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling her music, you know, what I've heard of it thus far, and I will check out some more. And again, you know, like looking at the numbers just on her music videos, like, yeah, she definitely has enough of an audience to be deserving of some pop figures if she's cool with, you know, providing her likeness to Funko. So before I thank all the artists, I do want to say this real quick. There was some more artwork that was submitted. Some artists did not put the name of the artist in their own name on their artwork, unfortunately. But at the bottom here, I was kind of curious because this piece of artwork that doesn't really show up super well, but it said The Wiggles, and I was just curious about it because Andrew submitted this, and I know he submitted something before, but I was like, well, who are The Wiggles? So I did decide to look it up, and apparently they perform music for kids, and the roster of who, you know, the members has changed over time, because I think the latest edition of The Wiggles actually has a female lead singer as well. But yeah, that's definitely an interesting choice there. I kind of wonder, what level of popularity they have. I'm not super familiar with them. If you're familiar with the Wiggles, please let me know some more about them down in the description. But yeah, now I definitely want to say thank you to all of the artists that did contribute to this video. I know some of you really put a lot of time into this, and people, I always give you plenty of time to do the artwork, so don't feel rushed. I know there are some people, when I announce the next theme, like literally like an hour or two later, they're submitting artwork. I don't want you to rush. Give us your best work, because we really want to check that out. We want to see the best that you have to offer with these designs, so don't feel rushed in that way. I usually give it at least a month or more of time for you to get your artwork in. But again, everybody that submitted their artwork, that is definitely appreciated. Now, I know some people are wondering what is going to be the next theme of Funko Pop Concepts, because yes, we are moving forward with this series, and I've already thought about it, and actually I had a couple of ideas in mind, and I put out a vote to my patrons, and my patrons mainly wanted to go with one particular theme, and that theme is movie moments. And I think this is actually a pretty good time to focus on movie moments, because we're getting into that blockbuster season. The big movies are about to roll out, especially Avengers Endgame. So this is a great time to be thinking about major movie moments that would do well, as designs, and possibly being produced by Funko in the future. So let's talk a little bit more about this next theme. Now, all entries, I want them to be realistic in terms of being able to be produced. Really think about what could Funko actually make. I know some people have said in the past they'd like to see like the Avengers teaming up, but you're talking about at least 6 characters together there. That's not going to fit in a box easily and be put on a shelf easily, so I want it to be realistic. Think about what Funko has done thus far. So with that in mind, I think that each design should be, either 2 or 3 characters, no more than 3, because that's basically what Funko has done thus far. So let's keep it realistic. Even 4 I think could be a stretch. Let's try to keep it realistic to what Funko can do. And also with that in mind, make sure that it has a limited background and or base. Again, think about what Funko has done thus far. Try to keep it realistic, something that really could be produced. Also, each submitted piece needs to be 100% original artwork. There have been some people that have submitted artwork that heavily includes artwork from other places, and even Funko artwork, and I really don't want to mess with that. I don't know if that's a copyright issue or anything. So again, please make sure that it's 100% original artwork, that is easy to see, it's clearly visible, no lined paper, please. Make sure it's all easy to see. And important here, please make sure that you include the name of the piece. In this case, because it's movie moments, you can name the movie or name the the particular scene, or do both. And also make sure that your name is on it as well, that your signature is on the artwork. That's important as well. So please make sure you do all those things, and then submit it to my email address. I've had some people like tagging me on Instagram. I actually had to block one individual because he kept tagging me over and over. That's not the way I want things submitted. Please use the email address. And you'll have to the end of May, so that's well over a month. Basically it's almost 2 months to get this in. So please, no last minute entries. There are some people that always wait to the last day, and that just kind of creates a hectic thing for me. I got to go back to the emails and find the artwork and everything. Like, no, just you got plenty of time. So please make sure you get it in a timely manner to give me more time to get everything together and try to make it all look good for you all. So again, by the end of May, get your entries in. I'm really looking forward to see what people come up with. I think movie moments is a great idea to roll with. I'm really looking forward to this. So again, that's going to do it for this edition of Funko Pop Concepts. Thank you all for checking out the video. Please make sure you drop a like on the video. Also comment, including sharing some music artists that you would like to see that maybe weren't covered within this video. I got a couple at the bottom of the screen that I would like to see as well that weren't covered here. So again, let me know what music artists you would love to see, and what music artists have you already picked up for your collection as well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Of course, support the channel. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you all again real soon.